Do. Don't mind me. Just started my day late, so now I get to eat. Get into stream voice chat. Apparently muted in there. Depends on the game you like to play. It has aspects of leveling and FPS, but also story building. It's an interactive type game. Okay. Doing really well. Fucking, I start my new job on Wednesday, so only one more day of my current job. Um, Not getting near as much sleep as I'd like, but that's because Dakota woke up twice last night. But you win some, you lose some. Don't mind me just peering off screen real quick. Fucking, I'm eating. Uh, Basically, it's just pasta and steak, but obviously there's seasonings and shit added in. Wait, why don't you sleep?
Thanks for the sub.
Hey, Captain!
Let's
Thanks for the
go.
sub, dude.
10 months. Captai 1317 Pyrita Hype. Captai 1317 Pyrita Hype.
You know, that's how I used to be. Pirate Hype, Captai 11317, Pirate Hype. What the fuck is Pirate Hype? So I used to be like that, and then all of a sudden I started dating my current significant other, and it was downhill from there. I sleep all the fucking time now. Gotcha, that makes sense. Oh, I mean, I guess I could have just fucking went over it. Ugh. We gotta learn some things today, and I get to yell, but not really yell at some things today. Well, so Nicole used to have a saying. She doesn't really say it that much anymore, but it was, I'm gonna sleep as much as I can to make up for the time for when I'm not able to sleep once I have a kid. And I basically just kind of went along with her. So like we'd take naps in the middle of the day. We would go to bed early. Like, but now it's like I'm kind of reverting back to my night owl, and she still tries to go to bed stupid early. And so she gets upset when I don't want to go to bed with her. So basically, that means I go to bed with her. If I was able to make up for the sleep I'm missing, I'm years in the gutter. Yeah, I don't remember who she told it to, but it was like I don't know if it was our nutritionist or a doctor or something like that. But they basically looked at her and were like, "Yeah, that's not how sleep works." I think I'm gonna play some Starfield today. Like every one day of sleep you miss, you need 3 to make up. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I fucking hope that's not the case. It makes sense, but I fucking hope not. And in that case, I'm very much behind. Yeah, I used to be just fine getting like 2, 3 hours of sleep. Now, if I get anything less than 5, I am
Grumpy.
not always grumpy, but I'm just not awake and super groggy. It's no bueno. Grumpy, grumpy, grumpy.
Yeah.
That's you if you don't get to bed early enough.
Let me go to bed.
You're able to go to bed. No one's stopping you from going to bed.
It's not fun.
I have a hard time sleeping as is. However, on Monday and Wednesday, I try to go to sleep early since I have to be up at 4 a.m. But my wife works at midnight, so sleeping early isn't an option. So wait, you start at 4. Does that mean you get off around like? You'd have to get off, I think, like around 12 or 1, right? Probably 1 o'clock with um your break and all that. 2 is my golden time. Basically, get 4 hours of sleep if any low. Um, so my goal nowadays, because I know how valuable sleep is to get a bare minimum 5 hours of sleep. Obviously, that doesn't always work, but it's a hope. Uh, do, do, do. So I do volunteer work from sunrise till my college class starts. Then I have college till noon, then come home and work till 8 p.m. Jesus. That sounds like hell.
I'm gonna have a kid right now.
Nicole says, have a kid right now and that'll all change. She's not wrong. Mine is a win-win situation. Well, I mean, you don't really have... I don't sleep a lot of times, so I am always very sleep deprived and can legit just fall asleep anyway anytime. So I'm the type of person who, like, during the day, I'm awake, I could be wide awake, but the second my head hits the pillow, I'm able to fall asleep. I might not even necessarily be tired, but I can fall asleep. I have a daughter, I have to make it work because I need the volunteer work for my degree. Ah, what are you getting a degree for, Captain? So I can be up large amounts at a time, doing what I want or need, and if I want to sleep, I could just die, basically. Jesus, that's fucking... That took a dark turn. Ecology, zoology. Oh shit. What's your dream job? What kind of job are you trying to get with that? Sound and feeling no longer exist. I don't know. I've been so sleep deprived that I felt like I could hear colors.
Me on Thursday.
No, when I was so sleep deprived. And on acid, but working out in nature with animals, mostly reptiles and amphibians, but anything really. It's just a normal part of my life at this point. I promise you, Mangle, once you get older, that's gonna change. Should probably be somewhat nice and make it so then you can at least see the title of the video.
All right. Now that lives aren't on the line, let's get back in Galbank, see if we can get those maps.
Jobs pay is great, but it works so much.
It's okay.
Thanks for the sub.
What's up, gang?
Hey, what's up, Glow? Thanks for the sub, dude. What you up to tonight?
Well, that was fun.
It may, but I don't plan to change it. Like I said, once you get old... How old are you right now, Mangle?
They were more scared than we were.
No, not if you're an insomniac like me. I promise you... Wait, Captain, how old are you? "24." So my sleep schedule didn't really start to like flip. Granted, I moved to a completely different like climate. I moved out to Colorado where the elevation's different. Like there's so many different things that happened that could have played a big part. But I didn't start to like feel like I'm actually losing sleep until probably about 2 to 3 years ago, and I'm 27 right now. Woo! Glow's been subbed for 4 months in a row and 8 months in total. Took my family on a shopping spree for good. Nice! Where'd you end up going? Did you go shopping in your phone? I also work on a call job that requires me to be up till early AM anyway. So like it doesn't even work if at some point I think your body just becomes used to shit that it's like, okay, I can fucking keep going. I'm so glad you guys can't hear me chew. I'm eating noodles. So it's like, I don't know, it sounds gross while it's in my mouth. I'm like looking at my mic to be like, please don't fucking go up. Really? That landed in my food. No, not good. She fucking likes to throw shit at. She likes to throw shit at me while I'm fucking at my computer. No. Just, I'm not gonna throw it back because I'll just give her more ammo. Well, 3 app stores in one day and none of them had the 15 Pro Max. I don't know why people are so enthralled about the iPhone. Android is so much better in every single aspect. Literally, the only reason people are happy about the iPhone is because then they can say they have an iPhone. I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Give a credit or two to the low house when I'm able.
You got some business with me?
Um,
Oh, well, if the marshal sent you to me,
I don't know. I
that
just like
means
to be
he's
up to
looking
date.
for
I
you.
understand that. Fucking.
Just so you
No,
know
so
what you're
it's
getting
one
into.
thing if you
I'll
do it
explain who
for
we
like
are and what we do.
brand loyalty,
The Free
or
Star
like
Rangers ensure the safety and security of the Free Star
basically brand
Collective
loyalty
and its
is the
people.
only excuse in my
You
mind,
might hunt down a
because like I
fugitive,
said, it's
break up a smuggling
Android has
operation,
the
investigate a
the
starship
better
theft,
phones
or
overall,
put
and
some would-be bank robbers behind bars. Whatever needs doing to keep
I don't know if you
safe,
want it, if you're
we do.
spending, in my opinion, if you're spending $1,500 on a phone, you may as well get the best phone you can. And unfortunately for Apple, that is not Apple.
Like most things that are worth doing, it ain't always easy. But do I think we make the Free Star Collective a little safer for everyone? Yeah, I do. I imagine you've got some questions. I'll answer anything I can.
I've been with Apple since iPhone 5. Oh shit, so you've been for a long time. Also, I just do trade-ins and pay the rest off. Oh, okay, so it's not like you're spending an arm and a leg for a new one. You're Minecrafting? Nice. Doing anything fun in Minecraft? Yeah, I've never had an iPhone. Nicole keeps trying to get me to switch over to the iPhone, but that's never gonna happen.
Okay then. A word about myself. I'm in charge of making sure anyone that wants to be a Free Star Ranger is up to the task. That being said, the Marshal wouldn't send you here if he didn't think you had potential. So, what's it gonna be? Are you ready to sign up with the Free Star Rangers? If you knew half of what I did about the man, you'd show him a lot more respect.
Sounds good, Glow. Thanks for jumping in, dude. I
I'm
appreciate you.
next in line,
Thanks for
and I'll
even
be
subbing.
damned if I'm letting
Fucking
you cut ahead
didn't
of
have
me.
to do that.
I prefer a more
Love you,
practical
buddy.
kind of
Hope you have a good
evaluation.
night. Sleep
I'll
well.
give you the details if you want to join up.
I guess I'm joining the Free Star Rangers.
Might be a good fit for you. The Rangers can do a lot of good.
Before I hand you a badge, I need to know you can handle the job. You helped out with the hostage situation, but sometimes people just get lucky. Tell you what, use the mission terminal and take one of the listed jobs. Your choice. Come back alive, and we'll talk about you joining up. Then I suggest you get going.
Don't be causing trouble now.
You're probably looking for Mary.
Damn, that was delicious. Oh, that one seems like the most fun. Yeah, I may as well just accept them all. Yeah, I end up doing them all anyway. That's not the exit.
Late one
Is this
night,
the
Annie
exit?
Wilcox tried to arrest me.
That is
for
also not
public
the exit.
indecency. She'll be a terror once she grows up.
That was down here. What the fuck is that? Guessing Wax is playing Baldur's Gate. Mike is probably playing Valorant. Zoe's probably playing Apex, and Nova could be playing fucking literally anything. I think he's the only actual wild card. Apex, which means guaranteed Zoe's playing Apex. Yep. Waxy. Oh, just a Steam for 6 minutes. Okay. And then, oh, it doesn't say what Mike's playing either. What the fuck? Alright, do. Alright. Complete a Freestar Ranger mission. That's all I gotta do. This one seems like the most fun. Do show on map. That doesn't seem right. Show me. Tab. Hold on. Collect the bounty on the outlaw gang leader at the abandoned. Okay. Where the fuck is my mission? At the abandoned Nybridge Pharmaceutical Lab. Probably in the science outpost? Oh. So let's just follow this, I guess.
Is Solomon Cole really all that?
Come on. Load up a little bit faster. Oof, shotgun. Why does I feel like I can do something that I can't, but oh, see, I gotta fucking go to my ship anyway. So, alright. What if I did set course? Is this some sort of pharmaceutical lab? Should make me think that it's that one. Nope. Alright, so I probably have to travel over there. That's probably what's going on. Pretty sure I just bit into a piece of cartilage.
The first step on a new world full of life and the unknown.
Oh man, so far away. What is this thing? A chill hook. That doesn't sound dangerous at all. Drop zone. I really love the graphics in this game. Ooh, so why does that look like a... Okay. Toxic gas vent, and I'm like, ooh, what's that? Okay, I'm getting much closer to it now. And of course, it's just my fucking ship. Think it's ever gonna stop freezing up on me like that? There's gotta be something around here that I can fucking... I just want to start the mission and then I'll fucking play my video. At least get to where I need to go.
Welcome back.
Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Take it off. There was something's walking right towards my ship. No idea what the fuck it was. there. And Maheo BA. So set course. Alright, so Maheo.
This is where I belong.
I'm gonna guess it's not going anywhere. There we go. Alright. So, I watched this other person play this video, and honestly, I wanted to find something to yell at. That's why I'm doing it on my stream. So sorry to say it, you guys, but there's going to be an ad break in 45 seconds. So if you haven't subbed, please do, so that way then you don't end up having to deal with fucking ads.
Say, for the sake of argument, there's this feminist media critic whose work you respect. Being an internet-savvy human in the information age, you sometimes share your opinions of her work on your various social media platforms.
Okay.
And you've noticed, whenever you speak positively of her, many different people come out to yell the same handful of things at you. It usually starts with, how can you support that con woman after she stole thousands of dollars from people? And you say, no, she didn't steal anything. She ran a crowdfunding campaign that people contributed willingly to. And overwhelmingly, those people seem satisfied with their donations. And they say, yeah, she asked for $100,000 for a shitty little project.
So just right off the bat, the only real example I can think of right now is with Trump. It was, how can you support this absolute racist, and then when proven that all of his racist statements were false, they end up going to, I didn't like how he conducted himself. And I'm sure people on the right do this, but that's just an example of leftists doing this. Like the fact that they're trying to paint this as a one-size-fits-all type of scenario is absolutely insane. Ah, shit, I kept before I pressed the reload button. Come on. Come on, shoot. Can't really see him. Ah, I'm burning. Why am I still fucking burning? Go, might be late. Come on. Am I like getting hit with a grenade or some shit? Alright.
And you say, no, she got $100,000 because people got excited about her work and gave her more than she asked for. But the original pitch was only $10K. Also, how many times have you given that number to people without looking it up? And they say, yeah, she asked for $10K and then never finished anything. And you say, no, she finished the project earlier this year. Of course it took longer than it was originally pitched. You get 10 times what you ask for, and you're kind of obligated to make a bigger project, because if you didn't, that would be running away with 90 grand. Now, by this time you've noticed your interlocutor's position has changed from she stole from people to she asked too much to begin with to she took too long to deliver, as though these are all the same argument. And you also notice the pattern of the conversation. He says something short, quippy, and wrong. You give a detailed correction. He says something else short, quippy, wrong, and only tangentially related to his last point, and the cycle repeats itself. This goes on and on. And it's not you've noticed just this discussion. You find this manner of argument often when you express left-of-center beliefs. You talk about the election, someone says you vote Democrat because you must have a conservative father you hate. You talk about...
So that's literally what leftists do. They say you only vote right because you've been brainwashed. You are actively hurting your own constituents. I mean, take all the slurs that they do for black people who end up voting conservative. It's literally, I'm not gonna say it because it's fucking Twitch, but like, no, I'm gonna do this anyway.
About polyamory. Someone says if you have more than one female partner, you must be a sexist. Or they just say you're faking a non-regional accent.
What?
Yeah.
Who says that?
The running theme here is all these people who ostensibly want a frank exchange of ideas spend a lot more time making accusations than asking questions. Because why ask what you believe when they can tell you what you believe and make you correct them?
So that's what the so he was a fuck, I don't want to get it wrong. The people who we typically say are from Russia. Communist. Yeah, he was a communist. And the entire time, like, so basically I would tell him that the creation of the nuclear bomb was an advancement to civilization. And he comes out saying, basically, you think you think nuclear war is a good thing? It's like, no, that's not even close to what I said.
And if you ever don't go to the trouble of correcting them, must be because they're right. And you're not naive, you see what's going on here. This isn't about conversation. No, this is about boxes. When you say something cogent that they don't agree with, and they get the sinking feeling that you might start making sense, they need a reason not to listen to you. So they reach for a box to stick you in. Dishonest feminism, fake progressivism, daddy...
I feel like that's kind of what everyone does. You don't agree with me, so I'm gonna say that because you believe A, you probably believe in B, C, D. Could be wrong, but I don't feel like it's often where it's like you believe in A, so therefore I'm going to take you on your word that you only believe in A. Actually, I should have
issue liberalism. No one in those boxes is worth listening to, which means as long as they've got you in one, they're not at risk of having their minds changed. This whole thing isn't even an argument with you. Not really. They're presenting themselves with arguments for why they don't have to listen to you. So your first reflex is to defy their expectations. Actually, my dad was a draft-dodging hippie who told me he loved me every day, and I never said what genders my partners are, but I promise they're all feminists. As for my accent, actually I don't know what to do with the accent thing, but the point is, I refuse to fit in your box. And if they can't put you in one, if they can't dismiss you outright, they'll have to engage with your argument. But if you've spent any time arguing with angry dudes online, and it is mostly dudes, you know what I'm about to say. They don't. This accusatory, condescending attitude never falters, because a technique that has permeated anti-progressivism is to never play defense. Now don't get me wrong, what I said about the right fitting the left into simplified boxes as a way of preserving their own egos, I do think that's a thing, at least for many people much of the time. And I think the reassurance it brings is why the technique stays so popular. But that framing is about how individual people are feeling in isolated moments and leaves out the larger game that's being played. Because there is a long-term strategic value to never playing defense, and it's less to do with arguments than with attitude. From your perspective, this debate about the feminist is a joke. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He comes in hot without confirming any of his assumptions. The whole conversation is you repeatedly schooling an ignorant dipshit. But that's only if you're the fool who—
That was me with the fucking communist I was arguing with. Literally, dude try so just on with the topic of advancement that I brought up earlier. He was trying to say that advancements were only a positive thing. And his reasoning behind that is if your army advances, that's a positive. What I brought up to him was, you know what's not a positive? If the enemy advances. It was literally just these simple fucking arguments that I feel like if he would actually have taken 2 seconds to think about, he probably wouldn't be a communist. Let's put it that way.
listens to what's actually being said. Never play defense is a strategy that looks past language to posture. The tone, the word choice, even the expressions on your faces. If you half focus your eyes and look not at the words, but at the flow of the conversation, you can see the dynamic at play. He says his short, quippy statement, and you give your detailed rebuttal. He then picks a single point from your response and attacks that as the new subject. Now, to an onlooker, the logical brain would register that he's leaving 90% of your argument on the table, and that by changing positions, he's conceding he lost the first round. But the lizard brain notices that he's always making the accusations, always in the dominant position, that he's always acting, and you're always reacting. Regardless of what is said, he displays all the outward signs of winning. So on a purely emotional level, he leaves the impression of being right. And I have never had an argument look like this that wasn't in public. This is a technique that means speaking not so much to the other person as to the people watching. Liberals tend to operate as though voters are beings of pure reason and neglect that rational people still have emotions, and those emotions factor into what they believe. And that long after this argument is over, when people only half remember what was said, what lingers on is what impressions the speakers made. Ronald Reagan coined the phrase, "If you're explaining, you're losing." The trick is, he's always accusing.
So that's not necessarily true, but I do understand where it's coming from. So, like, if someone clearly does not understand your argument, you do have to sit them down and be like, hey, that's not what I said. I said A. I did not say B. I did not say D. But if you just allow them to get away with being like, B is so incorrect, even though you never even brought up B, you have to, there's no way around it. You have to explain yourself.
Then you're always explaining. This technique of winning by looking like you're winning isn't new, and historically, it's been used by both parties. But modern liberals seem especially susceptible to it because it plays on one of their big weaknesses, which is, and I say this with love, the liberal fantasy of putting someone in their place. Anytime a free speech warrior gets the Bill of Rights quoted to them, when racists get historical accuracy explained by an actual historian, liberals take screen caps. We put it on Storify. We pass that shit around like it's theater popcorn. We live for the day an ignorant prick gets dunked on. I remind you, this was the central conceit of an entire TV show.
I don't say homosexuality is an abomination, Mr. President. The Bible does.
Yes, it does. Leviticus
18:22.
chapter and verse. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions while I had you here. I'm interested in selling my youngest daughter into slavery as sanctioned in Exodus 21:7. What would a good price for her be? Does the whole town really have to be together to stone my brother John for planting different crops side by side? Can I burn my mother in a small family gathering for wearing garments made from 2 different threads? Think about those questions, would you? One last thing. While you may be mistaking this for your monthly meeting of the ignorant...
So I will add that chances are if you argue from a point from the Bible, you are right-leaning, although just because you are right-leaning does not mean you argue from the point of the Bible. Honestly, arguing from the point of the Bible is it li- I'll say the same thing I say with abortion. It's literally just being like, you I don't believe in the Bible, and that's the easiest way to counteract that argument, or anything said with the Bible, is I don't believe in the Bible. Now if you were to say I don't believe in the moon landing, well, clearly you're just wrong there. But when it comes, that's why it's there's different things that are theories and not necessarily rules.
Ignorant, tight-ass club. In this building, when the president stands, nobody sits.
But let me ask you, in all these scenarios, who's doing all the explaining? The reason scenes like this are so satisfying is precisely because they activate the emotions. They present a world where giving a detailed explanation looks like winning, and where having one given to you looks like losing. Everyone wants to be Joseph Welch telling off McCarthy.
At long last, have you left no sense of decency?
But the right has learned that if you never look like you're losing, you can convince a lot of people that you're not. And if you keep your statements short and punchy, people will remember what you said better than they remember the long explanation for why it's untrue. If done correctly, you might even convince yourself that you know what you're talking about. Now, again, this is not exclusive to the right. This is how...
I'm glad that he added that part in, because this... Why would you call it this is how the alt-right, or the alt-right doesn't play defense, if it's not just a one-side issue?
Most teenagers argue, regardless of their politics, where it's less important to be right than it is to be better than someone. But mixed with control the conversation, see previous video, the right has a full-bodied cocktail for manipulating how the left argues. But where it gets dangerous is in how the alt-right has capitalized on this. This argument isn't just about sticking a woman in the lying feminism box so she doesn't have to be listened to. It's also signaling to anyone watching what box they should stick her in. Even if an onlooker recognizes that she literally did not con anyone out of their money, the idea that how much she asked for or how long she took to deliver are relevant to her credibility is still planted in their heads. It subtly suggests that the next time they feel threatened by a female media critic, maybe they should look at how much money she makes, how long her work takes to produce. Maybe they don't have to listen to her because they've got this handy box. So what's most valuable to the alt-right isn't who wins or loses any individual arguments, it's the mechanics of the argument itself. It's the boxes. Over the last several years, the far right has pushed hard on a number of reductive categories. The cultural Marxism box, the reverse racism box, even terms like beta and mangina are just shorthands for the failed masculinity box. The alt-right is a veritable box factory, putting huge...
Again, everybody does this. It's not just a left or right thing. I can tell someone that I am pro-Trump, and they'll automatically think, oh, you believe the election was stolen? That might not necessarily be the case, but that's what they're going to believe. And just for the record, I do not believe the election was stolen.
Heat like this won't straight up kill you, but it'll make for one sweaty, miserable day.
I've already been on this.
Huge swaths of leftist rhetoric, most especially that would rebut their core positions, into categories where they can be summarily ignored. And these myths have power if and only if they are immediately recognizable to a lot of people. And one function of this aggressive posturing is that they want to provoke an argument, to be so pompous that you are itching to publicly take this asshole down, which gives that asshole access to your followers. It's about them introducing a myth to your audience and reinforcing that myth for theirs. And that myth gets spread even when you feel like you're winning. And I can't tell you the best way to deal with it.
Oh, so is this like the Vosh tactic where it's I can't argue with a Vosh and Hassan tactic where it's I can't argue with anyone on the other side because then they might learn about the other side. Oh shit.
with this, but I do know one way, which is to keep control of your own story. When someone comes out the gate with accusations, it's a big red flag that they are not arguing in good faith, which means you are not required to argue with them. When
Do they have proof that they're not arguing good faith? Did they do something specific to make it so that it seemed like they weren't arguing good faith, or is this just the person being like, you obviously believe something different than I do, so therefore you are arguing good faith? You aren't arguing in good
someone says something untrue, you can just tell your audience what the truth is without acknowledging the lie or the one repeating it. A detailed explanation does land a lot better when it's not being contrasted with a soundbite. Decide for yourself how your audience gets acquainted with a popular fiction, and never be too proud to delete a comment. In this political climate, these debates have real impact on real people's lives. They are not, in fact, a game of football. So if someone tries to force you to play defense, you don't have to play.
Man, I should have learned that part just based off my conversation with Bunk. Like, I was playing way too much defense there when I really shouldn't have been. I feel like that one's good. Probably have to go there. Ooh, that doesn't work. We go there. And there. Okay. There. Two in the middle. I'll take it. I'll take it. Looks cool. I'll take it. A comment. Can I just read it? Expect. Is there anything of value in it? Okay, I'll take it anyway.
Every time I see a law.
Alright, now that that's over, it seemed to have. So this is by Innuendo Studios. When did this come out? Just looking at the comments, this video genuinely puts the entire argument style of the right-leaning people into words. Again, I gave examples of how left-leaning people also do this. This time I'm going to try bench Shapiro to people from now on. First you'd have to prove that he was wrong. You can't just say, "Oh, you're wrong." This kid in my third grade class though would make girls cry by saying stuff that's wrong, then insulting them when they tried to correct him. Always with the same calm tone. He got them riled up and worked them into a meltdown, act like he won because he's a calm, collected person while he's being hysterical and people would some. Oof. This one, he's got a point. Never admit defeat, even when you lose a national election in a landslide. And that was 5 years ago. Holy shit. The closest one he has now is the Alright Playbook. You can't get snakes from chicken eggs. Yeah, I don't care enough for that. Alright. I hate that I'm gonna do this. Do I really want to? You know, I really should. I gotta have some sort of good idea. Alright. Good right there.
I apparently there's a video made that was like critiquing me, so I might take some.
So I want to point out that I wasn't really critiquing him. I was more, it was a call out. It was me trying to be like, uh, so the backstory. Fuck, I've been dreading this for way too long. So the backstory is that me and him were supposed to have a debate. It was supposed to be a Lincoln Douglas style debate. We had agreed to it. The terms or the time was set for, I think it was a little under a week when we had finally said, hey, this is when the debate's going to happen. On the day of the debate, he forgot about it, and ended up being out on a walk. Yeah, and I had tried to set something up to where I would have a conversation with him. It wasn't necessarily like an interview, um, but I believe that's how I worded it, was an interview. Uh, I even told him that I would push back on some things because when I think of like an interview, I kind of think of like how Pierce Morgan does, where we talk about different things, we talk about your beliefs, but then on certain things, like I'm gonna push back. I'm going to like try to get a uh basically I'm gonna try and show you wrong without like trying to frame it as a context of this is a one-on-one debate. We are I'm gonna yeah, yeah. So I ended up being on this uh podcast with Sola Requiem, shout out Sola. And in the um in the podcast I ended up stating like, yeah, I could beat him in a debate. Uh but my fault was I never flat out said a structured debate. I never said Lincoln Douglas style debate. I just said debate. So I'm trying to find the words for this because I fucked up royally in this thing. But I feel like it's good faith to go through it, see what I did wrong, see what I can improve on, let him know, or like put out there that these are the positives he had in the debate. These are where I think he went wrong. All of that. Hold on. What I am gonna do is go. That. So yeah, I think that's about as much context as I can put into it. Anyway, so actually, there's a couple more. So from this podcast, I ended up clipping certain parts up and then made a video out of it. That video has since been deleted for two reasons. One, because the video itself was, there must have been some issue with the uploading process or the processing of the video because it was super choppy and super. It was just really bad, and uh, I'll probably just end up skipping it because there's no real point in me going through it. And then two, it was built on a false premise. I was told that not only did he dodge my debate, but he also dodged someone else. Again, I was thinking this was a structured debate. We'll find out earlier that he apparently didn't dodge him, but he didn't message him, and that's a whole nother shit show that I don't really care to get into, but yeah, so that's the context.
Some time, take a look into that. That could be interesting to look at. I want to kind of do that before I bring this person on stream, because they did actually want to be on stream with me. I think that they have this like idea in their head that I'm like ducking them for a conversation, which would be very weird considering.
So no, it wasn't that I was ducking them for a conversation. It was specifically a debate. And again, I should have specified structured debate.
Considering that like I've gone out and actively tried to have conversations with like everybody under the fucking book. That was like super weird to me. And I know the person who made the video, and the entire recollection that I have of my conversation with this person was we were supposed to debate in this like Lincoln Douglas style debate tournament.
Yep.
It was like a very prepared format. And I think I completely forgot that we were doing it because I got a lot of shit going on normally in my life. Scheduling things is kind of super hard, especially when it's like super prepared like that. And somebody asked me
Yeah, I
to do
didn't
something,
see
I
that
just
part.
slipped the mind. And I think they caught me on like walking down to a store or something to grab the thing. And I offered to reschedule the debate with them. They said that they weren't interested in rescheduling the debate for a later time. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
Oh, he's talking about with Sola, I believe.
I didn't really care.
That's because the reason why Sola didn't want to reschedule the debate was because with this tournament, we were the last people to debate. Everyone else had gone. I believe I had just had my son, so that's why we were the last people. Like there's a lot going into it, but if he would have said anything saying that like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it because of X, like if we would have had any sort of heads up, I wouldn't have made the video to begin with.
But we could have the debate on like your platform. When they reached out to me to have a conversation on their platform, if I recall correctly, they said that they didn't even want to debate, which is super confusing to me because.
Right, I didn't say debate, and I didn't say I didn't want to debate. I said that we would have a conversation. We would have a talk, basically.
Like, I don't know. If you've got the chance to bring somebody into your platform and you think that they're ducking you for a debate, it's really weird to say, like, you don't want to debate them. Presumably somebody's...
And this was long before I made the video. I want to make that clear. When like, what he's talking about, like, I had immediately told him that first day that we would have whenever he wasn't able to do the debate, I had reached out to him personally and been like, hey, we can set this up, schedule it, whatever. And then he just stopped responding. There was no, like, I think I had messaged him like once or twice more, but he just didn't respond after that.
He's talking to you for debate. You want to debate them, and they're refusing to have the conversation with you. That's what normally people I think mean by that. Also, check out the new setup, boys. Check out the new setup. This is what we're rolling with. All those boxes in the background, having nothing set up. The fucking grandma furniture that was left here by the landlords. It's lit in there. Okay. This shit's
lit.
Fire as fuck. The slight, like, sky blue walls. Oh my god. This is like peak living right now. Peak living. So I figured we might go over that before. Oh my god. Is that supposed to make that noise? Back, like, hold on. What the fuck was that? Which part of this is causing that noise? It did not make that noise before I moved it. Whatever. Who cares? You know what? Who gives a fuck? Alright. I think this was linked to me. So hold on. Let me check my...
Alright, so after the podcast, I ended up having... I ended up sketching... flipping that video and then... making that video, but that was long after we had this long after the Lincoln Douglas style debate, like long after.
My fucking linked shit. Okay. Was it linked to me? I swear to God it was.
So I had added him in the comments. I don't know if that's necessarily linking it, but that's what happened.
Give me a sec. Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh my God. The video's got 12 views, so
Yeah,
I don't
I'm not
think
a
it's
big YouTuber.
particularly
Trying
like
to say.
gonna end my career. The semblance that's left right now after not streaming continuously for like 4
Hold on,
years.
I need to see
straight.
something real quick. Hold on.
But we're gonna take a look at it because I love engaging with critique of me. That's my favorite thing to do actually. It's
So is this how many views does this thing have? Because if it has 2.32 and only 1 comment and 21 upshares, something seems wrong about that. No, that's how many. Okay, no, that's how many.
I think I completely forgot that we were doing it. But we're gonna take a look.
Let's see how many views it has. 256 views. 1 comment, 21 upvotes. I don't know why, but that seems like I'm not a big YouTuber, so I can't really say too much. I don't know if that's normal or what.
Look at it because I love engaging with critique of me. That's my favorite thing to do actually. Topic. Like they can't bite you in the ass no matter how you answer them. What a fucking stupid point. Wow. For a conversation or interview sometime. Whatever.
Start a vegan debate.
To me, you try to derail, you try to dodge the things that what's actually relevant to the point, and now I'm trying to bring you back to the topic. So, when we go into
I don't again, but you've already said that you don't do Lincoln Douglas style. So we got my video up there.
Are we pimp chimping?
The big critique back to them. All right, so my big point that I wanted to make was that I was upset that he dodged the debate. I think I used the wrong wording here. I said my whole argument when obviously that wasn't really the whole issue I have with him is that he dodged that debate. It wasn't that he I think I said the whole argument is that he missed the debate, which if you watch the video, which I mean you'd have to watch the rest of this, or the beginning of this. I had laid some other things into the podcast, stating why I think that I would beat him. It had nothing to do necessarily with, the only real example.
What do you mean a structured debate?
So structured debate, I mean Lincoln Douglas style debate where it's opening, conversation, end. I'm not saying necessarily where it's one talking over the other. I'm not saying where it's basically both sides have to be able to express their position. And then at the end, you summarize your position and why you think that you won the debate. So Lincoln Douglas style debates. So obviously we have.
I don't do Lincoln Douglas style debates.
So he doesn't do Lincoln Douglas style debates, but he agreed to do a Lincoln Douglas style debate. Please make that shit make sense. Oh, well, why not?
Because I like free flow conversations more.
Okay. So that was my entire. I feel like it's because he likes to try and get a dunk on people, which he definitely did. If you were to watch this without any context whatsoever, he destroyed me in this conversation, and I'll flat out say it. Critique was
No, I wasn't. I watched your
that
video.
was
What?
Yep. And did you see?
That's not what you said, dog. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That was. Hold on. I just want to see. Oh, not what I wanted. Fucking A.
Lives are just absolutely on the up and up. My viewers are worth investing in all the time, at all points. Let's fucking go. I offered to reschedule the debate or do it right then and there, despite not being prepared. Right, you clip that part out.
So he didn't really say that he was willing to do it right then and there. He was saying, or he wasn't able to do a Lincoln Douglas style debate because he didn't have points memorized, or he didn't have all of his points memorized. I do remember that much.
It's very notable.
Yeah, because you didn't.
Okay,
you
so
said that
you did clip it out.
You said that you did not have time to do an LD style debate.
I didn't have time to go back to my computer for it.
Which is not what he said.
You said that you did not have time to do an LD style debate. Yeah, and that's what I tried to do.
You tried to reschedule the LD style debate? No, you explicitly said no. You explicitly said no to that.
I tried to reschedule a conversation with you.
You didn't try and reschedule a Lincoln Douglas style debate with me. You explicitly said it wouldn't be a debate.
Again, when I think of like interviews and whatnot, I think of Piers Morgan. He has the other person state their view, and then he kind of is like, "Hey, well, why do you believe that? Isn't ABC true?"
Yeah,
you tried to schedule an interview with me. That's not rescheduling a debate.
I specifically stated that there would be points of contention. I think my exact words were I wanted to push back on some things.
Did I or did I not say that I would be pushing back on some of your things or some of your points?
You said that?
Correct.
Did you say that you said it was not a debate, right? So you didn't reschedule a debate with me, and I also ran away. That's not true.
Did I or did I not say that I would push back?
Did you say it was a debate? Yes or no?
That doesn't matter.
No, it does. Whenever we're talking about scheduling a debate,
it does matter. I can
whether it's
agree that much. It does matter. I fucked up there, and I should have. Like he has me there.
debate or not does matter. I don't care if you scheduled something else.
It really does not matter.
Yes, it does. Whenever you say I rescheduled the debate with you, if it's not a debate that you rescheduled, yeah, I can push back on my friend.
Is that not debating somebody?
You said that wasn't.
I'd have to look back at exactly what the messages were.
Okay, so you don't know what messages you sent to me. I read them out on stream. You said explicitly that it wouldn't be a debate.
Yeah, so we had the debate was scheduled for 3 months beforehand, and I just posted this video, so I scheduled it. So I made it the week before it actually came out. I scheduled it to come out a week after I made it, so it come out literally like the day before we had this conversation.
That's the interaction you're referring to. You're choosing to bring up things from 3 months ago. I'm just showing that you're wrong on those, right? And now we're going to move on to the other things that you brought up in your video, right? The actual substance of your video. Not the things that you're saying were the critiques in the video. They weren't the critiques in the video. You never said anything about Lincoln Douglas style debating. You didn't say anything about...
Correct, because in the podcast, the person whose podcast I was on, he hosts Lincoln Douglas style debates. And so I didn't feel like I had to necessarily say Lincoln Douglas style debate in that podcast. And he's got me there. I didn't fucking say Lincoln Douglas style debate. I just stated debate. It just basically means that I gotta, when I talk to people like this, or I'm about to have a conversation with them, I need to let them know, like, hey, this is what I specifically meant. Because otherwise he's going to say, you specifically said X when X wasn't what you meant, or whatever.
I did say structured debates in the edit. And the only reason
you said structured debates in the caption, dog, not the video.
Yep. So I put in the captions of the video, or the description of the video, I specifically put structured debates, but I did not say it in the video. He's got me there.
The reason being is because whenever
let's talk about the video then.
Okay, in the caption of the video, does it or does it not say structured debates?
In the caption?
Yeah, I fucked up on my wording here. I meant to say description of the video, not caption of the video. I'm not the best with I'm not as good with my words as I'd like to be. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, the video. That's the description, dog.
Yep, the description saying that you are running from structured debates.
So I'm gonna restate myself, and I want you to pay attention this time, okay? So, in the video, not the description of the video, in the video.
Now this is a serious question. Please tell me if I'm wrong here, but wouldn't the description of the video still be part of the video? So regardless of if I didn't clarify in the actual video, the description is there to help be like, okay, this is giving me a little bit of extra context.
No, those were not critiques that you made. When you say those are critiques of the video, you are wrong. You didn't say that.
That's not even.
You're trying to run away from the things you said in the video. It's very clear.
At the very end, did you? I was super hostile here, and one thing that so Sola, one thing that he specifically told me not to do was to make sure, or he told me that I should stay calm, and not, or if I was gonna go overboard or like, what's the right fucking word? If I was going to, for lack of a better word, be hyper or get hyped up, make it so that way. He was doing it first. So here you can easily tell, like, I'm hyped up. I'm fucking having, like, getting heated into this. You'll be able to tell later on. I kind of cool myself down because I'm like, I need to. This is not the type of conversation I want to do. You read the caption that I added into the video. Did you read the
very
caption?
end? The caption that you added.
End. Yep. So the caption at the very end was literally just saying, he also dodged Sola and never reached back out to him. He still has yet to debate him. I think it was something along those lines.
And into the video?
Yep, the one where it's saying how you
thanks
still
for watching.
No, is that a caption thing? I mean, I guess that is a caption. Wow, I didn't think it was that difficult to fucking be like. Yeah, he ended up dodging this debate too. This was another what I thought was a Lincoln Douglas style debate, but it ended up not being, and that was one part of the reason why I took it down, was because of that false premise that I was led to believe. Right before that,
He ended up dodging this debate too. You didn't say anything about structured debate. Okay.
Okay. Again,
let's take a
dodging
step back.
a debate. Whether or not it's structured or not, did I not say that you dodged the debate?
You were wrong about dodging the debate. I understand you made another wrong claim in your video. We've already been over that.
From my knowledge, from what I was told, you were dodging.
No.
Yep. So what I got told was, they had this thing scheduled to talk about veganism or something along those lines, and Sola had ended up putting a specific. He ended up wording something that, from the sounds of it, Bunk didn't like, and so then Bunk ended up not responding to him back. That's what I remember, or I believe that's what it was. Fucking again, this was how long? A month ago? 2 months ago? A month ago.
At what point did they set up a time with me? At what point did they say that they wanted to debate me?
They said they wanted to debate. They said that you were talking about it, and then you just stopped responding to him. Yep, to me, that's a dodge.
We called to try and set up the debate, and they ended up talking to me about something different.
I can only go off of what I was told.
Okay, so when you put the thing in your video, it's just something that you heard about me once?
From the person? Well, we've talked about it a few times. Heard from it once.
So it's something that you heard about me a few times from the same person.
Who? Yep. So it was heard from the person.
Oh.
I don't. Again, but you've already. So it'd be one thing if this was just like if it was someone from my community saying, "Hey, I know of this guy who he said he was going to debate," and then he stopped messaging. But when it's the direct person, I feel like that's a pretty reliable source. That'd be like how I say this. That'd be like me saying, "Hey, the boss uh told me she wanted me to do something this way," instead of a coworker being like, "Hey, the boss told me they want you to do something this way." Those not to say that that's not reliable, but one's obviously more reliable than the other. Already said that you don't do Lincoln Douglas style debates.
Yeah, we were setting up a Lincoln Douglas style debate.
So you guys are going to do a debate.
Yeah.
That was the false premise. Like because Sola hosts Lincoln Douglas style debates, I thought that it was going to be a Lincoln Douglas style debate. I should have gotten more clarification. There's really nothing else to it.
We were just going to have a conversation. No, you? Is no you your response? Wait, so let's please stop running away from the things you said in your video. I want to get to the other things you said in the video. We already know.
Hold on. What did I say? No you.
In your video, it's just something that you heard about me once.
Well, we've talked about it a few times.
So it's something that you heard about me a few times from the same person.
Yep.
Oh.
I don't again, but you've already said that you don't do Lincoln Douglas style debates.
Yeah,
so
we were setting up a Lincoln Douglas style debate.
So you guys are going to do a debate?
Yeah, we were just going to have a conversation.
That was such a bad argument or bad rebuttal. What I should have said was, I mean, there's a bunch of things I could have said. Like, do you know how to have a conversation? Do you know how to make it be a back and forth? I could have made fun of his high voice, been like, "Have you hit puberty yet?" Like, there's a lot more insults, but my brain doesn't typically focus on insults. So the only thing I could think of are you, which I'll admit that was dumb.
No you? Is no you your response? Wait, so let's please stop running away from the things you said in your video. I want to get to the other.
Wasn't running away. It was literally following the line of conversation. He said one thing, so then I responded to that, and they responded to that. It wasn't like it's not like he was like, "You said this in the video," and I go off on a tangent being like, I don't even know an example, to be honest with you. Not running away.
We already know.
Did I not say?
Yes, you're filibustering. You're clearly running away from the point.
I don't think he knows what filibustering is, because it's been a back and forth conversation this entire time. Like, what is the definition of filibustering? Isn't it when you just ramble on? Filibuster definition: an action such as a prolonged speech that obstructs progress in a... Yeah, so literally the entire time we're going back and forth. What part of that is filibustering? No.
If you're not running away from the point, let me move on to the actual point that I was going to address before you interrupted me. Okay. Fantastic. So in your video, you said that I only...
So he says, before I interrupted him, I counted all of these out previously. Throughout all of this, him and his buddy end up interrupting me a total of 33 times. I end up interrupting him 16 times. So it's very hypocritical that he ends up talking about, "How dare you interrupt me?"
only debate people who are stupid. Do you know of any people who are like really smart who I'm
So I did say that, but I literally gave an example in my video, which was dumb, where he talked to who the fuck was it? Not Matt Ross, not Jordan Peterson.
You need to find some common ground. Show an interest in the things she's passionate about.
Good.
Fuck, I can't. It was some popular person on the Daily Wire.
Follow me.
And I even added that in there, but that's just okay. I have more context I have to put in. So he, what? Trying to find the right fucking words for this. So how he likes to debate is specifically, or when it comes to the topic of abortion, is is X a human if it doesn't have this aspect? And in my head at the time, all I could think about was humans have this aspect. So therefore, if it doesn't have this aspect, it's not a human. That's not actually what I believe in. And I don't know why that was stuck in my head. I think the first time I get into these scenarios, I end up doing absolute horse shit. Such as my first ever Lincoln Douglas style debate. I literally had the intro and the outro, but I didn't have any of the middle. Like, I think at one point I literally ended up saying, I didn't prepare for a middle. And that was absolutely terrible. But, no, it's been a while since I've listened to this. If I'm correct, if I go by with what I say here, everything I say logically follows. Yes, we'll get into it.
Dodging debates from?
Nope, I did not say you only debate people who are stupid. I said the people who
all
you debate
all the people that you
typically
debate
aren't that
are.
good.
Oh, so it's not that I only debate people who are.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between calling someone stupid and then saying that people you debate aren't that good. Please let me know if I'm the only one who believes this, but I feel like there's a distinct difference between the two.
Stupid. It's just that they're not typically that good.
I don't remember exactly what I said. This was fucking posted on.
What
was it, Monday?
Yesterday, dog.
But it says Thursday, you're right. Yeah, so I posted it yesterday or the day before, but I didn't. I scheduled it, so it's not like I had everything fresh in mind before this conversation. I don't know. I scheduled
It was posted
for
yesterday,
Wednesday.
dog. Yeah.
I scheduled it for Wednesday. That doesn't mean I fucking worked on it. Man.
So you just want to say like that's not actually a critique of me. You're not making any actual critique of me there.
That is. I mean,
Wait.
when it comes to your abortion debates,
So
I saw those ones of yours and those ones, the people who. So I'm trying to think if that's not really a critique of him. That's a critique of the people who he debates. So he does have a point there. That was dumb of me. Debated against, we're not good.
Michael, the one with Michael Knowles.
That's what it was. Yeah, and even so, this was the part where Michael Knowles was the person who I was talking about. Yeah. If it'll go.
The well-known conservative commentator Michael Knowles. You think I like cherry-picked him?
I didn't think you did a good job against him. That's for sure.
Why?
You're right. I could have definitely gotten more in depth than that. Mainly because of the hypotheticals that we were doing. The main hypothetical.
Which hypothetical was irrelevant?
Yep, the one where you're talking about a being not having conscious experience. That is the reason it's not relevant is because humans have conscious experience. Yep, this goes back to the, like I was saying, humans have X, and so therefore, if humans don't have X, clearly, it's not human, and that was such a dumb point on my part.
Congratulations. The Rangers ain't a bad
Experiences,
outfit. They're lucky to have you.
like
I
you
wouldn't make it
can't take
irrelevant.
that away. It does make it irrelevant.
No.
Yes,
If I were to
because
say,
if you take away
sorry,
the conscious
sorry.
experience, if you take away the conscious experience, then it's not partially human.
Well,
So what I meant to say here was if you take away the capability or the eventual capability of a conscious experience, then it's not human. But again, that's wrong. I did absolute horseshit in this.
no, that's not
It's
true.
not does not have the same function.
Do you think dead?
as a typical human
Wait,
would.
do you think dead humans aren't humans?
They stay that way.
And they aren't live humans? That's the only thing I really can say there. Like,
Try to keep an open mind. Grab any supplies you might need, and let's get going.
I don't know. They're not alive humans.
No, but I
Which
said
has
they're not
nothing to-
humans. So you dodged that question. You know that you're stupid for saying.
Is that a dodge? I'm trying to think because I mean, yeah, it is. Oh, if we're talking specifically about whether something is human or not. It shouldn't matter if it's alive or dead. Yeah, that was a dodge. It wasn't intentional, but that's what. Yeah,
Saying that, I'll let you get away with it, but it's very clear, right? Dead humans are still humans. It's not required to have conscious experience
And when
to be
it
a
comes to
human.
the topic of abortion,
Let me
that
respond
really
to the
doesn't
first
matter.
critique that you gave. Well, no. Let me respond to the first critique that you made, okay? So, in the context of somebody saying, what I value is a human life. If I give them an example of a human life that they don't value, that is a reductio on the view. Michael Knowles was saying...
Reductio on the view. What the fuck does that mean? I know I've heard this before. Reductio ad absurdum. What is the absurd conclusion of a reductio? Take a range of forms. The absurd conclusion of a reductio and absurdum can take a range of forms as the earth cannot be flat. Otherwise, since the earth is assumed to have finite in extent, find people falling off the edge. Okay. Okay. Again, I did some really bad arguments in this.
saying that he valued a human life. That was a reductio on Michael Knowles' view. It was relevant to the topic.
Please elaborate. How is it relevant?
So, if I were to say, what I value in individuals is if they have 10 fingers, and then you were to say, oh, well, some individuals have 9 fingers. Do you think it's morally okay for me to torture people with 9 fingers? And I say, no, it's not okay. That would draw a contradiction on the view. The type of hypothetical we're running here is just a reductio. It's a reductio on the view. Do you know what reductio is?
Yes.
Okay. So if you understand what that is, you must understand how it's relevant to the Michael Knowles conversation, correct?
I understand what you're trying to get at, but I still don't think it's relevant to his argument.
Oh, so when he says what we
So I think what you have to... What Bunk doesn't do is he doesn't actually get what the person is thinking. He just throws out, oh, most people who are pro-life think this, so therefore I'm going to use these arguments to say, or to prove that their argument is flawed. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad idea, but if you don't actually know what the person's point of view is, you could potentially lead yourself up to sounding ridiculous. So such as with if he says people have 10 fingers and I brought up the 9 fingers, it'd be like me saying just right off the bat, oh, so you can torture people with 9 fingers without him ever bringing up humans have 10 fingers. At least that's my perspective on it.
value is X, and I can give you an example where it is not X, but we still value it. You think that that's irrelevant to the question? That's irrelevant to the conversation?
When it came to Michael Knowles' specific argument about him valuing life, do humans have consciousness? Do humans have...
What I should have said was, do humans have the capability of obtaining consciousness? Because otherwise he does, I mean, the people in the chat have a point. Otherwise, sleeping people who aren't conscious, that'd mean you'd be able to kill them. Yeah, that was bad wording on my part.
Have a conscious, like...
Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Sleeping human
And do you
beings don't
think
have
he would
conscious
say
experience.
that you can disrespect a dead person? Because dead people, like you said, they don't have a conscious experience.
Well, I said you can? Like, logically?
Do you think
Morally?
that Michael Knowles' argument is that...
I think you should not disrespect dead people, because it's really disrespectful to things like the families. It sets a really bad social precedent.
Yep, so here, I had it right at this point, but I didn't have it right at the beginning. Me stating, do you think Michael Knowles' argument is that you can disrespect dead people? because then that would make him bringing up conscious more relevant. But again, I don't believe I stated that well enough.
And around things like consent. That's why I think
Right,
that
so-
should be the case.
So that furthers the point that he values life. He doesn't value, like, the
No.
conscious experience is immaterial to his argument.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
So if he values life, what about the life does he value? That should have been what I was thinking about, but I don't think it was. God, I did so terrible in this.
No, you're deeply confused. So
No, because just because something has,
no. So let me finish my sentence before you go on. So
as you've interrupted me numerous times.
Every single time I've interrupted you, it's to get you back on topic, right?
That's not true at all. Again, this just goes with the filibuster comment that he made. A filibuster is taking off topic. If it's a back and forth, it's not necessarily going off topic. That's just the progression of the conversation.
interrupt me, you try to derail, you try to dodge the things that what's actually relevant to the point, and now I'm trying to bring you
Not
back to the
dodging.
topic. So when we go into Michael Knowles saying what I value is human life, and I give an example where a human is alive, but we don't value it, right? The reasons for valuing, like, protecting dead bodies in this situation wasn't because the dead bodies feel really bad, it's because the people around them feel really bad. That's a conscious experience that I'm referencing there, not the dead bodies conscious experience. The reason it's like wrong to like, what would it be like wrong to like desecrate a body is not because the body feels really bad, right? We cremate bodies all the time. It doesn't make people feel as bad to see a body cremated as it would be for me to desecrate a
Did I
corpse.
miss something as to like why is he bringing that up?
Life. And I give an example where a human is alive, but we don't value it, right? The reasons for valuing, like, protecting dead bodies in this situation wasn't because the dead bodies feel really bad, it's because the people around them feel really bad. That's a conscious experience that I'm referencing there, not the dead bodies conscious experience. The reason it's like wrong to like, what would it be like wrong to like desecrate a body is not because the body feels really bad, right? We cremate bodies all the time. It doesn't make people feel as bad to see a body cremated as it would be for me to desecrate a corpse, right?
So
These are just as bad if they were alive and they were feeling things consciously. If we were worried about hurting the person's feelings or something, then that might be relevant, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
So
they make the
please
dead body
explain-
feel bad.
Please explain how a human life not having a conscious experience would go against Michael Knowles' argument.
Because there are some human lives without conscious experiences which we don't value. The example that I brought up was that of a pea zombie.
What is a pea zombie? A philosophical zombie is a being in a thought experiment in philosophy of mind that physically identifies to a known person. Is a pea zombie an actual thing, or is it just used in as a thought experiment? Yes. Yeah. I feel like you'd have to give an example of there being evidence of a pea zombie actually existing, because otherwise, if a pea zombie has never or can't exist, if it's not a real thing, um, I feel like that would be equivalent to being like, if you like fast cars, but then fuck, I don't even fucking know. So like, something that's I'm trying to think of something that's not real, but it could destroy an argument. So like, I don't even fucking know.
It's a very commonly used one. I don't know why you said it was like impossible. It could not happen. It's used within philosophy. It's not like my hypothetical that I came up with off the top of my head. I'm not. I promise you.
But just because you think of something doesn't mean that. Again, I feel like this is one of those things where you'd have to, like, show a point of being like that a person can live without conscious thought and never be able to obtain conscious thought.
I'm not that smart. In the context of the conversation, when Michael Knowles says what we value is human life, and I can give examples where it's very unintuitive to value human life, right? So, for example, one place where it's very unintuitive to value human life is like in the case of a tumor, right? That's an example. Another example could be in the case of somebody who's like brain dead, right?
But hold on. I think I missed something there.
Right?
So
These are just as bad if they were alive and they were feeling things consciously. If we were worried about hurting the person's feelings or something, then that might be relevant. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making a dead body feel bad.
Please explain how a human life not having a conscious experience would go against Michael Knowles' argument.
Because there are some human lives without conscious experiences which we don't value. The example that I brought up was
what humans have or do not have conscious experiences that we don't value. Having something be philosophical and having something be realistic are two completely different things. I mean, granted, I know I need to learn a lot more when it comes to philosophy, but from my understanding of philosophy is like thought structures, thought patterns to understand things. I don't
was that of a pea zombie. It's a very commonly used one. I don't know why you said it was like impossible. It could not happen. It's used within philosophy. It's not like my hypothetical that I came up with off the top of my head. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not that smart. In the context of the conversation, when Michael Knowles says what we value is human life, and I can give examples where it's very unintuitive to value human life, right? So, for example, one place where it's very unintuitive to value human life is like in the case of a tumor, right? That's an example. Another example could be in the case of somebody who's like brain dead,
and you'd
right?
still value
Their heart's beating, but they're not experiencing anything. We're totally okay with taking these people off of life support. These are examples of situations where we don't.
So I feel like that would go with the what's the term? Why am I so bad with my fucking words? That would go along the lines of something with the how good would their life be? So basically what I mean by that is like or how valuable is their life? I don't feel like that's the right term. But like how I see it is kind of like the problem of if there's there's two babies, but then 1,000 zygotes burning or about to get burned in a building. Which one do you save? Obviously, you choose the live ones because they're.
We all want to protect people from the Ashta. We're on the same side here.
The hell with that. This ain't the way things are done.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Don't value human life.
So a tumor is not human life.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
No, a tumor is not human life. So, to my knowledge, a tumor has some human DNA with it, but it's not considered unique DNA. As well as it doesn't go on what I believe are the 6 characteristics of a human life. Or 7? Of a human. 7 necessities of human life. So a tumor does not have any psychological needs such as air, water, food, clothing, shelter. Doesn't have any safety needs. Actually, I guess technically it does have safety needs. It wants to live. It does not have love and connection needs. Uh, it does not have significance needs such as recognition, respect, achievement, self-esteem. It does have variety needs. It does have growth needs. And I guess technically it would have contribution needs, but it doesn't have the psychological one, the safe or the love and connection one. And to me, you need all of these in order to be like this is what humans need. All the way down from a fetus needs the physiological needs. It needs food. It needs shelter in a sense. Um, in order to grow, it has the safety needs, such as it, in order for it to grow, it needs the protection from harm, needs help from violence, has a love and connection need. It needs people to be able to take care of it. It has significant needs, such as uh, it shows recognition. It doesn't show respect or achievement, or it doesn't need respect and achievement, but it does have the recognition aspect. Does have variety needs, such as different simulations help or deter what the heck it's going to do. Um, does have growth needs, such as developmental, and does have contribution needs because it does. There are some health benefits that it ends up giving the mother. Um, and I feel like these was that seven. These seven needs are something that humans need to be considered human. Every human has these things. Every human needs these things.
The Ashton banner.
Now, I will say that it is a life, but it is not a human. Just because something has life in it does not mean that it is a human.
Just because it has
you dumb?
human DNA, is it not?
What do you think
the
human
person,
life is?
Does the tumor have its own separate human DNA, or does it have the same
Some
human
do.
DNA as to it's attached to?
Some
Actually,
You'll
have
have
their own
to.
Actually, don't know that. Do tumors have their own DNA? Yes. Scientists said that dying tumor cells release small pieces of their DNA into the bloodstream, called cell-free secret. But then that would mean that it's not human. If it has its own DNA, that would mean it's not human. Because it's not human DNA. Okay. So I'd still be right in that aspect.
Give me an example.
A biparental mole formed at conception.
Biparental mole.
No.
Biparental mole. Isn't that the one where biparental mole? Biparental mole rise due to global inherited failure of maternal imprinting is an autosomal female germline genetic. Is known pure maternal effect. Let's look into it. And it says that's rare, but I mean, I don't know enough about this. And if I'm gonna ever have a conversation with him, I doubt he'll ever have one with me again. But rise due to a global inherited failure of maternal imprinting is an autosomal recessive defect in the female germline. Genetic analysis essential, although it is not available in all seven. Okay. Is that biparental mole? What is a biparental mole? Found reviewed by Fisher. Gonna learn today. Deploy the engine, deployed for rare, related, okay, mutations in the mother, and deployed with both maternal and parental origin of the molar. We have screened a cohort of 11 potential contributions to molar genome. But that's not a tumor, is it? Let's go Control F. Parental. Oh. The genetic of these moles, morphologizations most sporadic. Recurrent moles had some of these recurrent moles are familial with one members of the family having moles that form different partners. Each of these moles is biparental and is different. Says the risk of persistent trophoblastic disease, women in recurrent biparental unlike and able to have normal pregnancies. In both cases likely to be biparental as both detect the origin of the moles not feasible. Right in origin recurrent mole sporadic. Maternal and paternal components. These are due to an autosomal recessive defect of germline. Okay. So now, is a biparental mole considered a tumor? A mole is a subset of complete of high identiform. Abnormal human conceptus. So I don't think is a mole a melanoctic tumor. Note that it is almost perfectly round. A mole is a benign melanoctic tumor. Okay. So technically, yes. I'll say yes. He was right there.
Now, will you concede the point?
Hold on. Well, I'm looking.
Now
this
you're
up
stumbling
because-
like a fucking retard because you have
I'm
no idea what you're
fucking
talking about.
looking it up.
I will admit, I had no idea what a biparental mole was. She has a unique human DNA.
Okay.
I'm looking it up.
You look
Am I
that
not
up.
allowed
I'm
to
going to
do
talk to my
research about-
stream chat. No, I would prefer if you did the research before talking about the topic, but I'm totally good with you doing it right now. So
hold on.
So, chat, this is the thing that I'm talking about. A lot of the time, people will come into these conversations saying, this is my best time. It's the thing that I know the best. And oftentimes, it's not that great. I'm not that great at it. Every single critique that I have of me that's actually made in like video format tends to be very indefensible. I think this is a good example of it.
So I think this is where he ends up leaving.
So a mole
You want me to get up
pregnancy,
and piss? While you can actually just research the topic. I gotta go piss real quick. If that's good.
Okay. A molar pregnancy is not a regular pregnancy.
Yep, makes sense.
Unusual growth cells. Let's see here.
This is top tier content. Yeah, again, I admit that.
I bet Cora's already finished.
So this is the other dude that I didn't realize
What's up,
was
chat?
someone else.
What's up?
'Cause they
So
sound
not
so
only
fucking
that, but
similar.
a molar pregnancy wouldn't have the functions of a human life.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. My audio was having some issues.
Do you think a molar pregnancy is a form of human life?
If your definition of human life is having unique human DNA, then it would fit your qualifications. What's your
So
definition?
that's
of
only
human life?
part of my human life. It's the it has to have.
So okay, so that. I mean, I feel like that logically follows. If it's not my entire purpose or specification for what a human life is.
Have the 7 qualities of human life.
Oh yeah.
So just so you guys are aware, I'm trying to be good faith and everything. This is Synth. She's a character.
What are the 7 qualities of human life?
Let's see. It has to be able to reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
has to be
Let's
able
go with that
to-
one first. So if somebody can't reproduce, or they know.
So I just want to point out that's one cut off right there. And this part really irritated me because when I say reproduce, I don't specifically mean they have to be able to give birth. Their body has to be able to reproduce in some way, such as cellular reproduction, which humans do.
No longer a human life.
No, because humans have the capability of reproducing.
Are
the
these
cells
necessary or
themselves do
sufficient
reproduce.
conditions?
Those are things. That was a term that I didn't know about, and I learned a lot in this. I'll give you that much.
Sorry, what?
Are these necessary or sufficient conditions?
Yeah, I didn't know what those were.
Please elaborate.
Are
I didn't
these
know.
necessary conditions or sufficient conditions?
I would say they are necessary conditions.
Okay, so the moment you don't have one of them, you're no longer a human life, right?
It's as long as it has the it generally has the capability.
Okay, so
such
these the
as-
conditions.
So I should have just said, when it comes to the characteristics of human life, yes, those are it is a necessity. So it has to be able to have these things.
Aren't
So
the condition
such
is not
as
being able to
some women are
reproduce.
able
Hold on, you're
to-
confused about your own
So
position. I'm gonna help you out.
some women are not able to get
Let's hear it.
pregnant. That doesn't
Mhm.
mean they're not a female.
Yeah, you say they have to have
because
the
their body
capability to
generally
reproduce,
has
right?
the capability.
Yeah, the capability.
Hello, my love.
I'm Ranger Emma Wilcox. My deputy and I are here to help. Now, tell
Did
us
you
what
end up
happened.
taking a nap?
I
No.
was out planting in the fields when I saw some men approaching.
Hi.
They looked like soldiers with uniforms
Where'd
and
you find
weapons
it?
and such. They wanted to buy the farm.
Gotcha.
Didn't
When's
even
supposed
ask
to
if
arrive?
it was for sale. Their offer was
Oh,
so
okay.
low, I told them right where they could stick
Yep.
it.
Okay.
They said they'd give me
Do you know what
10 to think
capability
about
means?
it, but if I
Yep.
didn't change my
Okay.
mind,
If somebody can't do something, are they capable of doing it?
then they left.
So, to my knowledge, capability, you can gain the capability to do something. Whether or not you can or can't do it right now is immaterial to future capability. Capability, to, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, is just you are able to do this at some point. So, like, I can't dunk on a basketball hoop, but with enough training, I could gain the capability to do this.
Humans generally have the capability of doing something.
Go ahead and answer my question.
Please repeat your question.
Because you were just ignoring it.
I will say I
place
probably
is
was
dangerous.
ignoring him
Steep
because I
slopes,
had in
narrow
my hand
trails, rock
one
slides,
thing
and
and
all manner of
hold
hostile
on,
creatures,
I want to double check.
They're no longer a human life.
No, because humans have the capability of reproducing.
Are
and the
these
cells
necessary or
themselves do
sufficient
reproduce.
conditions?
Be careful.
I'm sorry, what?
Are these necessary or sufficient conditions?
They said they were the first.
Please elaborate.
What, I'm not
Are
sure.
these necessary conditions or sufficient conditions?
Thank you,
I'd say they are necessary conditions.
Okay, so the moment you don't have one of them, you're no longer a human life, right?
weapon handy and your eyes.
It's as long as it has the it generally has the capability.
Okay, so
such
these the
as-
conditions aren't
so
the condition
such
is not
as
being able to
some women are
reproduce.
able
Hold on, you're
to-
confused about your own position.
So
I'm gonna help you out.
some women are not able to get
Let's hear it.
pregnant. That doesn't mean they're not a female.
Yeah, you say they have to have the
because their body
capability to
generally
reproduce,
has
right?
the capability.
Yeah, the capability.
Yep.
Okay. Do you know what capability means?
Yep.
Okay. If somebody can't do something, are they capable of doing it?
Do humans generally have the capability of doing something?
Go ahead and answer my question.
Yeah, I definitely would. So I was too busy trying to do a gotcha here, and it backfired tremendously. Yeah, like I said, it backfired completely.
Please repeat your question.
Because you were just ignoring it, because you're like wildly bad faith. The question.
It wasn't that I was ignoring it. I was specifically trying to put my point across that just because you can't do something doesn't mean you don't have the capability to do something.
Sidelines here.
Question was, if somebody can't do something, are they capable of doing it?
Back when I was
So are humans generally capable of doing the thing?
No, you're doing the thing again where you ignore my question and ask a stupid one instead.
That's
Go ahead and
because
answer
I'm
my
not
question.
ignoring the question. I'm literally answering your question.
What was my question?
If you can't do it, are you capable of doing it?
And your answer was a yes or a no?
Just because a singular person cannot do something does not mean that humans are not generally capable of
That's not what
doing
I asked.
something.
Please answer my question with yes or no.
Again, just because you are, I mean, now who's the one being bad faith?
So I shouldn't have immediately brought up being bad faith. I should have brought up like, I mean, there's 1,000 ways I could have done this. Like, I could have stated something along the lines of, it's not bad faith to ask a question. It's not having a specific. I don't even fucking. There's a bunch of ways I could have done that. Even how I did it wasn't bad faith.
Faith, when I'm specifically telling you,
You're actually just ignoring my question. The one being bad faith right now is you. The answer to your question is you. You're still being bad faith.
Not even close to true, because humans generally have the capability of doing it.
I agree.
Am I wrong?
Humans generally have that capability. For you, humans always have that capability. It's a necessary condition to be a human life. Yes, you did.
I did not say necessity.
You said it was a necessary.
So I think this is just going back to the reproduction aspect. I'm talking about like reproduction in general, cellular reproduction. He's being very pedantic here, being like, well, you didn't say cellular reproduction, you said reproduction.
Necessary condition.
Yes, and us humans, do their cells reproduce?
Okay, I don't know why you keep asking random irrelevant questions. You said it was a necessary.
It's not relevant.
Hold on.
It's
listen.
literally specifically
listen.
to this topic.
Broji, listen. Quiet down. Listen. Pay attention. If it's a necessary condition, what that means is that to be a human, you have to have it. That's what a necessary condition is. Do you know that?
And humans have cellular reproduction.
So then to be a human, you have to have it, right?
Yep.
So if you don't have it, you're not a human, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then if you don't have the capability to reproduce, then you're not a human, right?
Do their cells reproduce?
Answer my question.
That is answering. I'm answering.
So the fact that if you don't think that you can answer a question with a question, you're just wrong in that aspect. I think this guy definitely is only trying to get gotchas. Again, just being pedantic, because when someone says a human has to be able to reproduce, are you saying that humans don't cellular reproduce? Oh, but you didn't say specifically cellular reproduce.
Is it yes or no? No. Questions don't get answered with questions. They get answered with answers.
They do get answered with questions.
They get answered with answers. Try again.
Do get answered with questions.
Those are called not answering. Go ahead and try again. Yes or no?
Do human cells reproduce?
Please answer my question. You look terrible doing this, by the way. You don't look good doing this. Everyone in chat is making fun of you because you're ignoring the question really blatantly. You're doing really poorly. I need you to answer the question. Try again.
I did answer it.
What was the question you answered?
If they can't reproduce, are they humans?
Your answer was what? Yes or no?
My answer is no, they aren't humans, but do
there
cells
we go.
reproduce
Did you say,
them?
hold on. Do you think you said no earlier?
So, again, it goes back to the. Oh shit! Hold on. So, I didn't say anything regarding reproduction when it comes to has to be able to make children. When I said reproduction, I was specifically meaning it, but I think he was. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was thinking. What I believe he was thinking was that he was specifically going off of reproduction, as in asexual, whatever, and making a child, and more or less. But what I was meaning originally was, actually, hold on, I need to hear that again.
Reproduce?
Answer my question.
That is answering. I'm answering it with
Is it
question.
yes or no? No. Questions don't get
No worries, I got you. Be right back. Yep.
Get answered with questions. They get answered with
They
answers.
do get answered with questions.
They get answered with answers. Try again.
Do get answered with questions.
Those are called not answering. Go ahead and try again. Yes or no?
Do human cells reproduce?
Please answer my question. You look terrible doing this, by the way. You don't look good doing this. Everyone in chat is making fun of you because you're ignoring the question really blatantly. You're doing really poorly. I need you to answer the question. Try again.
I did answer it.
What was the question you answered?
If they can't reproduce, are they humans?
Your answer was what? Yes or no?
I definitely did answer it because, again, when it comes to reproduction, cellular reproduction is a thing.
My answer is no, they aren't humans, but do
There
cells
we go.
reproduce
Did you say?
them?
Hold on. Do you think you said no earlier?
Yes.
No, you didn't. It's okay. So to be really clear, the answer is no, they aren't humans. If you can't reproduce, then you're not a human. That was your
My
answer?
specific answer was, can humans reproduce?
Some of them can, and some can't. In my view, your view, every single human can.
Every single human has the capability of cellular reproduction. Say they don't is absurd.
Humans don't have cellular reproduction.
Humans that can't reproduce are ones who are infertile.
What
cellular
humans
reproduction?
don't have cellular reproduction?
Tumors have that. Did you forget the argument we were making?
Don't tumors have cellular reproduction? Now that I... Do tumors have cell... cells. Yes. To reproduce rapidly. Okay, so what the fuck is he getting at here?
Tumors cell reproduce, but that doesn't automatically make a tumor a human.
I feel like you just completely lost track of your own argument. Your argument was
I
that
feel like you're
listen, Brogy.
I definitely was getting fucking twisted during this, but that's because he... I feel like that had more to do with him, not me. And more to do because of him, not because of my own train of thought.
Middle of a sentence. You can't call other people floundering right now. So, middle of a sentence, hold on, listen. Your argument was the reason why tumors are not humans is because they lack the property of reproduction. They can't reproduce. That's why we went down this diatribe, right? Now, I'm asking you, okay, if...
Wait, when did I say tumor cells couldn't reproduce?
Forget the argument we were making?
Tumors cell reproduce, but that doesn't automatically make a tumor a human.
I feel like you just completely lost track of your own argument. Your argument was that listen, Brogy, middle of a sentence. You can't call other people floundering right now. So, middle of a sentence, hold on, listen. Your argument was the reason why tumors are not humans is because they lack the property of reproduction. They can't reproduce. That's why we went down this diatribe, right? Now, I'm asking you, okay, if tumors can't reproduce, because you're not talking about cellular reproduction, what about other humans?
Humans don't have cellular reproduction.
Humans that can't reproduce are ones who are infertile.
What
cellular
humans
reproduction?
Don't have cellular reproduction.
Tumors have that. Did you forget the argument we were making?
Tumors cell reproduce, but that doesn't automatically make a tumor a human.
I feel like you just completely lost track of your own argument. Your argument was that listen, Brogy, middle of a sentence. You can't call other people floundering right now. So, middle of a sentence, hold on, listen. Your
by
argument
those
was
boundaries.
the reason why tumors are not humans is because they lack the property of reproduction. They can't reproduce. That's why we went down this diatribe, right? Now, I'm asking you, okay, if tumors can't reproduce, because you're not talking about cellular reproduction, they have to have the
Because their body
capability to
generally
reproduce,
has
right?
the capability.
Yeah, the capability.
Yep.
Okay. Do you know what capability means?
Yep.
Okay. If something.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so another
Hold on. I know why he thinks that is my argument now. So because we got on the topic of what makes a human life, and I started naming specific things, and the first thing I said was reproduction, and he stuck to that, saying that I was saying that they can't reproduce. I never once actually said that. My specific argument was just because something has human DNA does not make it human. And then he asked what makes it human, and I literally was just about to go on the list, but then he was like, "Nope, let's focus on the first thing." So I don't know if that's him being bad faith or if that's him not understanding what my actual argument is.
What was that? This is your best topic?
Yep.
Wow.
But
Your other one
again,
was
you
awful.
haven't even answered any of my things.
Okay, how about this?
You're literally going off hard.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you one question, and then you tell me this. When does a human life end?
Human life ends when cellular reproduction stops, as well as they have no longer need for.
So I feel like there's a lot of things that affect this answer, such as philosophically, if someone's able to get frozen, their cells stop reproducing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're dead in a philosophical sense.
They no longer need a physiological need. They no longer have safety needs. They no longer have.
So again, it's a multi-answer. It's not just one thing.
Have love and connection needs. They no longer have
All of those
significant
and
needs.
are
They
these
no
necessary
longer have
conditions?
variety
Or, sorry,
needs.
without the
They no longer
filibuster.
need
Without the
growth
filibuster, are
needs.
these
They
necessary
no
sufficient
longer need-
conditions?
Did
Without
you
the
ask me a
filibuster.
question, or do you
Without the
do you want me to
filibuster.
finish?
No,
Do
I
you
don't.
want me
I
to
actually want you
finish
to
the-
stop. I want you to stop because you're filibustering.
So
It's
you're
really
not
obvious
trying to
you're
have
doing.
a good faith argument. If
I
you're
am,
not
and you're trying to have a
actually-
bad faith one. I'm trying to
Clearly
make sure
not.
that you
No.
have to be good
If
faith.
I'm
I have a
trying
question
to
for you. Are those
answer
necessary
something-
sufficient?
If I'm trying to answer something, the point of a good faith argument or conversation would be that
You're not trying to good faith
I
answer. You're trying to
finished
fill out
my
as much.
argument.
You're trying to fill out as much of your time as possible. Now
Nope,
go ahead and
you
answer my
asked-
question.
You asked me.
Necessary or
what-
sufficient?
You asked me whether what
Necessary or sufficient?
is necessary for it to be no longer a life.
Nope, I didn't ask you that.
All of the
I asked you when does
qualities-
life end?
Yep, and which
Yep.
is necessary.
Isn't that technically the same thing? Fucking when does life end, and what is the necessity needed for it to no longer be alive? Isn't that the same fucking question?
Necessity for.
Are you
no
listing
longer-
out every single necessary condition?
That's
what I was
that's
doing.
what my answer was.
Perfect. If those are necessary conditions, you understand. If somebody doesn't fit one of these, that means their life is gone, right? Their life is over. It's the end of their life.
I think at this point I was just trying to be like, that's the reason why I'm quiet is because I was like, I think I was trying to like clarify in my head, like, is everything is all of these like a necessity? Is this required in order for it to be a human life? I wasn't like scared, I wasn't backing out or anything like that. It was literally just I was trying to go through it and be like, are these actual necessities? And because I will say he had me questioning it.
Okay, your point.
Okay.
To
One of the
my
things you
knowledge,
listed.
humans
One of
need
the.
all
Hold
of
on.
these
No, you
things.
asked my point. You asked my point. Listen to the point. That means that if
Such a
somebody
bad
doesn't
faith
have
arguer.
a loving connection to other people, that was one of the points you said was a necessary
Nope, it's
condition.
love and connection needs.
Love and connection needs. Okay, so if somebody doesn't have
Yep.
love and connection needs, that means their life is ending.
Okay, just listen how bad faith this dude's answer is. Loving connection need. Just remember that.
Spit it out.
Literally, yes.
Literally, yes?
Every human being has loving connection needs, such as belonging. They need intimacy. They need affection. They need support.
What's the definition of love and connection needs?
Which is, I literally had just stated it, and then he's like, "What's the definition?"
A need for belonging, intimacy, affection, and support.
And all of those and?
So those are not a necessity. Those would be whatever the fucking the or is.
Belonging?
That's the only thing I have for belonging. I said that.
Mm-hmm. All those are. That's an and. You have to have all of those.
Oh no, not necessarily. You just need to have some sort of love and connection needs.
Okay, and so those are sufficient. Those are or. You meant to say or there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's what are the or statements? Go ahead.
Belonging, intimacy, affection,
support. By support, you mean?
Needing support from other people, whether it be emotional, physical, whatever.
So, okay. So, for example, if it was the case that you were brain dead and on life support, you would need support.
Oh, of course.
So, brain dead people are alive?
A brain dead person does not need.
Look who's here.
A brain dead person does not need a loving connection need.
I suggest you.
Like I don't get what's so difficult about that to understand.
Okay. So, for example, if it was the case that you were brain dead and on life support, you would need support.
Oh, of course.
So, brain dead people are alive?
Well, no, because brain dead people, just because you need support, and those things, you even said yourself, they're an or. So just because you have one doesn't necessarily mean that you are alive.
Huh.
Like
no, it does actually. That's how ors work.
Nope.
So
Do
ors
they
mean
need-
sufficient.
So what I should have said here was support from a machine is not the same thing as a love and connection need. You don't get love and connection from a machine. That's what I should have said.
Did they need love and connection?
Brogy.
Is
Ors are
support
brogy.
is support for a brain dead person the same thing as a love and connection need? Is support for
Listen, my friend,
for
I
a
will
brain
tell
dead
you the
person
answer to every
the same
question,
in
but
love and
first I have to
connection
correct
need?
you on something because you were very confused. Ors, those are sufficient conditions. That means you only need one of them. So if I say, I can go to the store if I'm wearing a red shirt or if I'm wearing red shoes, that means I don't have to have both. I can just have one. Now, necessary conditions, those are like the and statement. So if I said, I can go to the store if I'm wearing a red shirt and I'm wearing red shoes, that means I have to have both. Those are necessary conditions.
Yep.
You gave me sufficient conditions at the end there. Now I'm asking you, how about this? Since you agree brain dead people aren't alive, what qualification do they lack? What's the necessary? What's one example of a necessary?
Love and connection need. Does he think? I think when I say connection, I think he thinks that I mean like connected to something. I don't even fucking know.
Necessary condition they lack.
A brain dead person does not need love and connection, as the one we're just talking about.
Oh, they don't need love and connection?
No, they do not. They're dead.
But if they if they don't have love and
it.
connection, if they don't have love and connection, they'll stop cellular reproduction.
What? What? How does he get? When did I say that if they don't have love and connection need, that they'll stop cellular reproduction? What?
Just curious. A brain dead person isn't alive. One more time. A brain dead person is not alive.
A brain dead person is not alive.
And when does life begin?
Life begins when unique DNA is created.
What if you have unique DNA and you're brain dead?
So
yeah, this was dumb on my part, because obviously a fetus or a zygote, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have a brain, so therefore it cannot. Wait, did he say when does life begin?
So if you
Dog,
have,
you just fucked yourself. The argument's over at this point.
Are you talking about a?
Ors, those are sufficient conditions. that means you only need one of them. So if I say, I can go to the store if I'm wearing a red shirt or if I'm wearing red shoes, that means I don't have to have both. I can just have one. Now, necessary conditions, those are like the and statement. So if I said, I can go to the store if I'm wearing a red shirt and I'm wearing red shoes, that means I have to have both. Those are necessary conditions. You gave me sufficient conditions at the end there. Now I'm asking you, how about this? Since you agree brain dead people aren't alive, what qualification do they lack? What's one example of a necessary condition they lack?
A brain dead person does not need love and connection, as the one we're just talking about.
Oh, they don't need love and connection?
They don't. They do not. They're dead.
But if they if they don't have love and
it.
connection, they'll stop cellular reproduction.
Even I was like, what do you mean?
Just curious. A brain dead person isn't alive. One more time. A brain dead person is not alive?
A brain dead person is not alive.
And when does life begin?
Okay. Life begins when unique DNA is created.
So I think he thinks he has a gotcha here, but they're not. Something can be alive and not be human, just like something can be human but not alive.
Created.
What if you have unique DNA in your brain dead?
So if you
Dog,
have,
you just fucked yourself. The argument's over at this
Are you talking
point.
about a fetus being?
Oh no, I'm
brain dead?
talking about a zygote. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but a zygote, either way, it's still growing. Just because
and they're brain
if
dead.
it does not have cellular reproduction, it is no longer a human.
Just curious. Are zygotes? Are they brain dead?
I should have just immediately said yes here. That was.
Are zygotes brain dead?
It depends on what stage you feel a zygote is, because at some point they develop a
No, zygotes never
consciousness.
have brains. Once you have a brain, you've stopped being a zygote. You've even stopped being an embryo. You're what's called a fetus. Are you sure you know the difference?
Yep.
Okay, now you really know the difference. So I'm asking you again. Zygotes, do they have brains?
No, I never stated that they did have brains.
You said that life begins at conception, and that brain dead people aren't
when
alive.
Unique DNA is formed. So that's actually
and
a few
brain
days
dead
after
people aren't
conception.
alive. No, it'd be at conception, not a few days after. I don't know where you think that. The formation of a
'cause
zygote is sufficient to have new DNA.
To my knowledge, and
You don't
this
have
one
enough
I
knowledge.
definitely could be wrong.
You are wrong.
Clearly, I'm more educated on this topic than you are.
Nobody thinks that.
Yeah, you're.
You don't think that.
Simping.
You, in
chat.
particular, don't think that.
I definitely do think that.
No, you don't. You've lost all of your confidence throughout this discussion. We can all hear it. You've constantly, over and over again.
We need to take that clip from this combo. It's okay, bad joke. Okay.
And have these
No, I'm
massive
trying
moments of
to
dead air.
have an
You're
actual
clearly bombing.
conversation.
I want to ask you one more question, though. One more question.
Yep.
And this time I want to make sure that we have an answer. Yes or no? Are zygotes brain dead?
Yes.
Are brain dead people
What
alive?
is the definition of brain dead? Shit. Permanent, irreversible, and complete loss of brain function. So technically that'd be no. Because a zygote has never had a brain, meaning that the brain couldn't have stopped. It is not irreversible because the brain grows. And a complete loss of brain function. It never had a brain, so it's not permanent. Having suffered brain death. Okay, so I would say that I was wrong here. A zygote is not brain dead because it never had a brain to begin with.
Will they gain a
Womp
consciousness?
womp. Just say no, dog. Just stop embarrassing yourself. Say no.
I'm not. Will they gain a consciousness? Will they gain
That's not a
brain?
qualification.
Are they growing?
They currently don't have one of the necessary conditions, do they?
That doesn't mean anything.
It does mean a lot. It means they don't have one of the necessary conditions to be a human being.
So again, I think
That means your whole argument's done. You
No.
lost. You got premise locked.
It really doesn't.
It's over. You can
Nope.
keep. We can
Do
keep
they-
cycling through
Will
it.
they have the
Oh, actually,
capability of
hold
having
on.
a brain?
Hold on. I have the capability. Oh wait, hold on. The capability of having a brain. On what modal scope?
I
Please
still don't
elaborate.
understand
On
it
what
means
modal
by
scope? I'm asking you the modal scope.
Yep. What do you mean by modal scope?
You don't know what a modal scope is?
Nope.
So when we use words like capability or possibility or necessity or can, right? All of these are called modal terms. So when
Yep,
somebody
and
says
that's-
something's impossible, right? That's the same as saying it's necessarily not. So all of these terms, modal terms, they operate within what's called modal scope. Okay, I'll explain what a modal scope is now. So a modal scope is the set of rules and regulations on capability or can or possibility or any word like that or necessity. And to be necessarily the case, it has to be the case you can deduce it from that set of rules. So if something's logically necessary, that means it's deducible from the laws of logic. If something's physically necessary, it's deducible from the laws of physics. And the inverse, possibility, right? Or not necessarily not. Possibility, what that means is that it's not in contradiction with that set of laws. So logically possible means there's no internal contradiction. Physically possible means there's no contradiction with the laws of physics. So now that you understand what a modal scope is, right? You can now tell me what the modal scope is on capability, right? Or do you just usually use like really ambiguous terms like capability because you don't want to get clear on it?
Still don't understand that there's a difference.
I use the words like capability because it eventually will have it has the capability of growing and
Answer my
getting
question,
a
though.
brain. You haven't even answered my last question.
Which question of yours have you asked in the past that I haven't answered?
Does a brain dead person need the support of loving connection?
No. Now can you answer my question?
Oh, so that right there just proved him wrong from earlier, but I didn't realize that, and I should have like stuck on. I should have stuck him on that. Like, oh, really? Because you said this earlier.
What was the question again? Sorry,
Oh
looking
my
at
God.
chat.
So yeah, you don't want to do that. It's gonna
Yeah,
make you feel
really,
bad.
I was looking at
So-
my chat.
I really didn't want to look at my chat because it made it then it was a lot more difficult for me to actually understand the premise of the argument. I clearly cannot multitask when it comes to this. I need to make sure that I'm 100% engaged. That was dumb on my part. No, I need to read it. I need to actually read it.
Chat.
Your chat's gonna make you feel bad. So I want to ask you the question one more time.
they
Maybe this
actually
time you'll be able
weren't.
to engage with it. You'll be able to answer it, respond to it. I'm very curious about one super simple thing, which is just, what the fuck is the modal scope?
I still don't really understand.
I don't actually have an answer for that one, just because I still
Is it
don't really know what
logically?
you
Are
mean
you
by
saying that they're
modal scope.
logically capable? It's logically possible? Are you saying
It
it's
is-
physically possible?
It is logical that they will eventually gain a brain.
That's not
Yeah,
what
I
I just
didn't
asked.
really-
you.
I didn't
When you say
understand
capability, that means it's possible. That means they can do it, right? I'm
Yep,
asking
they
you.
can once it grows.
Yeah, so they can't do it right now.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Eventually,
means
it
a lot.
will. A 2 or a
What do you
4-month
think makes
old
you the
cannot
same
walk,
person
but
over time?
eventually will.
What do you think makes you the same person over time?
I don't feel like anyone's the same person. What do you mean by same person? Because
I mean, why are right now you have the same identity, right? You are the same individual, the same person, right? You would assume you're the same person that you were 5 minutes ago, right?
Yep.
Okay, you're the same individual, even though your thoughts and ideas change. What is it that makes you the same person over
My
time?
DNA makes
My DNA.
Your DNA. So if your DNA
Yep.
mutated, you wouldn't be the same person.
No.
I would say
If if you had cancer, for example, you wouldn't be the same person.
So just because I get cancer doesn't mean the.
again, I don't really understand the question. So like, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. Is that what he's meaning, or is he saying like, I'm Dylan, I was still Dylan 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all of that? Don't really understand what he's getting at here.
All of my cells differ. If as soon as I get rid of the cancer
That's
cells,
irrelevant.
my
I don't know what you're
cells
saying
can
now.
stay the same. That's literally an answer
No,
to
no.
what
I
you're
asked,
saying.
No. What I'm talking about right
What?
now, nope. I'll tell you and I'll help you out. I'm telling you, if it's the case your DNA changed, here's an example where your DNA changed. Is it the case that if you get cancer, your DNA changes?
You get cancer cells, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of your cells change. Or,
Let's see here. I don't really, because your consciousness changes over time. Your DNA changes over time. Every single cell in your body changes over time. Is there anything like I think I'd have to go like really deep into asking like what exactly do you mean? So like yeah, I don't even know.
your
What I
DNA
asked.
changes.
Okay, your answer is no. Your DNA does not change if you get cancer.
Nope, you have cancer cells
mutates,
inside
doesn't
you,
it?
but your DNA itself.
Okay, you
like,
just don't know
You
how
still
cancer
have the
works, I guess.
same DNA.
So you understand that the cancer cells that we're talking about are ones with different DNA, right?
Yep. So do
And
you
they're
think
part of
can,
you.
do you
They're
think
attached to you?
do you think cancer is the same thing as a human?
No, I think it's attached to humans. I
Oh,
think
so
what
you-
makes you is
oh,
not your
okay.
DNA. Yeah,
Okay.
Broji, you do this. You have this problem. You have this continued fallacy you use over and over again, where you forget the argument that you made and you like insert it into my position.
No,
and you try to
you
make
keep
critiques of that
trying
new
to
that new
divert.
position, which is this weird hybrid of like all of your awful positions and like all of my good ones. You make that hybrid position and then you attack that. I don't want you to attack that. Attack my position. I'm right here.
I don't even remember what I was saying
You
right here.
hold on, my fucking
Oh my God.
headphones must have fucking muted or some shit. What's up? What was that?
Yeah,
Heard
I'm
you
trying to get
talking.
really clear. If what makes you the same person over time is your DNA DNA can mutate. If cancer cells exist in your body, then that DNA and that cancer cell is mutated.
So generally, and now this one could be wrong, but if you have
Oh, you could
cancer
be.
and let's say your arm, does that mean that your DNA in your leg changes? Does
Wait,
that
hold
mean
on.
the DNA in your
You're-
head changes?
You
Does
said
that
you
mean
could
the
be.
DNA in your
Do you want me to
stomach
answer your
changes?
question or do you want to
That was me
filibuster?
filibustering.
I'll
That
filibuster,
was me
I don't care.
filibustering.
You look terrible doing it. So the answer to your question, you said you didn't know, which makes me really curious, right? If you don't know, if it was the case that if I like pull up a source right now and says when you get cancer, all of the cells in your body, all of their DNA changes. Would you say that a person who gets cancer is no longer the same person?
Again, what does he mean by that? Because whether or not someone's the same, are you meaning like, are they physically the same person, or is it, because like I said, 10 years ago I was not the same person I am today. If I were to get cancer, I would assume that I wouldn't be the same person. My thoughts would change, all of that. I just don't understand what he's really asking.
Let's see what we have here.
There is no evidence of that.
Yeah, do you know how counterfactuals work?
So just
If you
Stolen from
Counterfactuals. A conditioned sentence which discuss what would have been true under different circumstances. If Peter believed in ghosts, he would be afraid to be here. Counterfactuals are contrasted. Contrasted with indicative, which are generally restricted to discussing open possibilities. Counterfactuals are critics by the use of fake tense morphology. The difference between indicative and counterfactual conditions could be illustrated by the following English grammar pair. If Sally owns a donkey, then she beat it. If Sally owned a donkey, she would beat it. Okay. That's like cancer cells change you. If you had cancer, cancer would change you.
you didn't
Because
have
I'm
breakfast this
saying I
morning,
could
how would
be
you
wrong,
feel?
It's more or less.
If you didn't have
I
breakfast
feel-
this morning, how would you feel?
I don't eat breakfast, so
Oh my God, he doesn't eat breakfast, guys. If you didn't have breakfast this morning, how would you feel? See, if you didn't have breakfast this morning, the answer is very simple. Just say how you feel right now.
I feel fine.
You feel
Like-
fine. There we go. We're gonna teach him how to engage in counterfactuals. Chat. We can do it together. We can explain to this man how counterfactuals work. So now I'm gonna ask the other question again. Now that we know how to engage in counterfactuals, if it was the case that I showed you a study right now that says, yeah, when you get cancer, the DNA in all of your cells changes slightly, ever so slightly, almost unnoticeable. Would you say that means that when you get cancer, you're no longer the same person?
If you could
It
find
should be
evidence of
yes.
that, that would probably.
So I shouldn't have said anything other than yes.
Change my views.
Answer my question though.
Okay, I understand. But I didn't really answer this because it said it would change my views. But I also see where I would have thought that, okay. So I feel like that would be. This is me saying no. But what I should have said was yes. I shouldn't have said that it would change my views. Is saying that I would change my views isn't an answer to your
No,
question?
my question was not would your views change. I know at least one of your views would change. The one that I just gave you evidence for directly. I'm asking you, if it was the case that your view changed on this, would that also change your view on this thing over here? Which is like, are you the same person before and after you get cancer?
Would that not be a yes to that statement?
No,
Like,
it wouldn't be a yes to that statement.
Are you not able to deal with fucking
Are you
other
diagnosed
questions?
with something? Are you diagnosed with something that makes you have like trouble
I was gonna
understanding
ask
how
you
other
the
people
same
work?
fucking thing.
This is where again he goes and no you guys, no you. Yeah, this is just bad.
I don't know why you'd ask me the same thing instead of just answering the question. The answer is yes, I'm guessing. You're definitely diagnosed with some shit that makes you like incapable of understanding how other people's brains work.
I think his brain just works differently because, again, I've named how many different things about how I specifically state one aspect and then he hyper focuses it on that aspect, thinking that that's my entire argument right there. Yeah, I think his brain just obviously works differently, and he doesn't understand that.
Literally been able to answer every single one of your questions, yet
Nobody
you
watching this
consider-
thinks you've done that. No, not a single person watching this on either side believes that you've answered every single one of my questions.
What question have I not answered?
We watched you like freeze up several times in a row and not answer the question. You haven't answered the last one. You even asked me instead of
I did answer his question. I did.
answering the question. You've even asked me directly. Well,
Again-
wouldn't that count as this kind of answer? No, it doesn't. See, I could say my views would change, but that wouldn't mean my views change.
If you have any more trouble,
I think this goes by he doesn't believe that you can ask a question with the question.
Such that you are the same person before and after you have cancer. See, if I said that, what I would mean is like, well, my views would change. And by that, I mean I would change my position so that I don't think that what makes you you is if it's the case that you have the same DNA or not.
So I do understand where it comes there. He's thinking that I would completely like backtrack off that idea and be like, well, this other thing over here supports me, so I'm going to stick to that now instead of what I originally said.
It's a silly, incredibly silly position.
If you are bringing up whether if cancer cell or cancer DNA changes all of the DNA in a human, and you were to be able to bring proof of that, and I'm saying that your DNA is what makes you you. If you have different DNA inside of you, or like if all of your DNA changes to whatever.
Did you track anything I just said?
Yeah, just because.
What do you think I just gave you? What was the argument I just gave you?
Clear about my argumentation does not mean I'm not answering you.
Not as clear. It's just that you don't know what any of that thing that I just nothing that I just said. I don't feel like you tracked any of that because
literally I was just going again. This is me not being as clear as he is. I was literally going by what he said.
Nothing that you're saying right now has any
everything I
relation
said
to it.
had every correlation to what you had said. Every single
Correlation?
thing.
Would that be the right word? Correlation. Everything I said correlated to what you said. Everything you said. I need to make sure. I'm pretty sure. Mutual relationship or connection. Yeah, every single thing I said had a connection with what he said.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think that word means. So I'm asking just really quickly. Let's make sure that we're on the right track so that you can understand this argument. I can understand your view. Want to know something super simple. Super simply, yes or no to this question. If it was the case that I provided you data that showed that when somebody gets cancer, all the cells in their body, the DNA changes. Would you think that means that once somebody gets cancer, they're no longer the same person?
No.
Oh, see, my answer here should have been yes, because again, if your DNA changes, then that would mean that part of you changes. I feel like this would go back to the. Yeah, I think what I should have said here was yes, not what I said.
No, because my views would change.
Oh, really? The answer is no? So
Yeah,
then,
if
hypothetically,
all
if
of
it
your
was the
DNA
case,
changes, wouldn't that mean? And if all of your DNA changes, you would still be the same person.
if all your DNA changes, you'd still be the same person?
Okay, see, I fucked up majorly there. Fucking majorly. And I don't think I definitely don't realize it in this.
To my knowledge, yeah. So unless you have evidence of something other than that.
Hold on. Let's think about what you said one more time because I want to make sure that I heard it right. If it's the case that all of your DNA changes, you would still be the same person anyways. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, so if
do you notice the contradiction
right now,
or do I?
If you right now, all of your DNA changed, do you think you would not be the same person? Do you not think that you would be Bunk?
He's not punk. That's what. But I wasn't looking at him whenever we were talking. It was literally just voice chat. So, and they sound way too fucking similar.
Well, I wouldn't be Bunk. I wouldn't be.
I was so confused when he said that.
So, I wouldn't be Bunk. No. But you're just never mind.
you're
Look,
gonna have to elaborate
my
on
friend,
that.
my friend Bunk here is back in the room. It's like I exited the fuck.
I was so confused when he said
Hey,
that.
hey, Noah, you want to take the headphones back?
Oh shit. Oh, has he realized the contradiction in the view yet?
No, he doesn't it was so fucking blatant. It was fucking wild.
Hello?
That's because you haven't said anything to contradict anything I've said.
So you said that. No, the contradiction was really obvious to everybody else, and I was hearing half of the
there was no
conversation, and I could still notice the contradiction. Like I didn't even have to hear your answers, just like listening to what you said before, and the response to what you said afterwards is pretty clear. When you say it's the case that what makes somebody themselves is their unique DNA, right?
Yep.
And then you also say, but if it changes, they're the same person.
Oh,
You
hold
notice
on.
that
Yeah, that was a huge
they have different
So-
unique DNA now, right?
Oh, but you must have missed the part where you must have missed the part where he said that if he was able to provide evidence saying that if when you get cancer or something, all your DNA changes, that would obviously change my value or opinion on saying whether or not you were the same person.
So we gave you a hypothetical case, right? If it was the case, so for example, if I said, you are a human being if you have 2 functional arms, and then I were to say, in response to you saying that, right, I said, well, that's not true. Let's assume that you break one of your arms. It's no longer functional. You fracture it horribly, right? And you say, oh, well, if that was the case, you would still be a human being. You don't understand how that draws a contradiction on your view?
That was a huge
Even if you
fuck up on
haven't
my
shattered
part.
your arm?
That was a huge fuck up on my part. Huge fuck up.
You understand that it's an if statement, it's a counterfactual.
Yep. And did you miss the part where I said
Stop
my
trying to
view would
act like
change?
you're. Stop trying to condescend right now. You're not in no place to
I'm
condescend.
literally
I'm in
trying
the
to ask
future
the
right now.
question. Did you hear this?
I'm waiting.
Did you hear that if there was evidence stating otherwise, my views would change? So to my knowledge, to the best of my capabilities right now, if you had different DNA, you would not be the same person. So therefore, if you were to provide me evidence that having cancer gave you different DNA,
So
that would change my viewpoint on whether or not you were the same person or not.
I understand
I
that.
apologize
I'm
in advance
asking
for
you to
mixing you
give.
guys up.
No, you're not mixing anyone up but yourself. You're
No, see, he wasn't understanding what I was saying there. I literally mixed up the two, and he's still. I don't know if he just doesn't understand, or was too engrossed in the initial thing to be like, whatever even. But regardless, that was a huge fuck up on my part. I can't say anything other than that.
tripping over your own feet of your
no,
argument.
I literally thought that he was Bunk. Did you miss me calling him Bunk?
I'm sorry. So I'm gonna get back to the actual argument. The argument that you're giving, the argument you're delivering is that X is what makes you the same person over time. If I give you a hypothetical case, and in this hypothetical case, you do not have X, right? You no longer have X. Then, would you be the same person over time? You say, yes, you would still be the same person over time. That's a contradiction. That's what a hypothetical case is.
I understand the contradiction.
We're testing
which is
your
why I'm
system.
saying my viewpoint would
So you
change.
understand the contradiction.
Yeah, and at that point, I fucked up that badly. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But that doesn't negate the fact of how bad faith Synth was throughout the entire fucking thing. Yeah, hopefully I can just learn from my mistakes and do better next time. It had made me think about a lot. There were definitely some things that Synth was wrong about. I'm glad I was able to go back and through it and be like, hey, this was incorrect. But that doesn't change the fact that overall I fucking had some terrible arguments. I think I had maybe like 1 or 2 good ones, but when I first someone like that again, I definitely have to come up with a better strategy, because that clearly was not a good strategy. It froze again. I'm gonna see if I can raid out.